Good morning, everybody. All right. So we left off last class. We were in the middle of talking about various. Sorry, fat cat was eating someone else's food. um, we left off talking about various karmic correlations and what are the things that we need to do to unravel all of those particular things. And so the homework from the end of last class was pick one and then focus on that one thing for the next 4 or 5 days. I think it's been 4 or 5 days since the last class. Right. So I want to hear from you. Which one did you? Well, first of all, if you didn't do the homework, wah, you'll never get enlightened, at least this week. Secondly, if you did do it, I'm curious about what you chose and what did you do as your alternative seed planting. You can turn on your microphones or you can just put it in the chat. Which one of those? I think there are 18 of them. Did you choose? Come on, don't be shy. You can't get enlightened unless you help others, and you help other people by sharing your difficulties and how you solved your problems. Come on. I know you're not used to class participation.
Okay, I will try it.
Thank you, Heidi.
Um, I think it's a grace to speak about my obstacles. Also, I'm ashamed. I realized I don't have many problems with others. I have a great problem with myself.
Mm,
So all problems are made by myself, I know. But my main problem is now at this moment, Lelo.
mhm,
I'm afraid to be alone and to do the important things.
mhm,
When I, for example, when I get up in the morning, I look whether my son and his little daughter, my son is a single father, whether they need my help to comb the hair of my granddaughter or something else. And sometimes it's useful, sometimes it's not necessary, and sometimes it's better. I would say leave alone. And it would be better I would stay in my home and did the meditation first. But first I do other things.
mhm. So
Also,
yeah,
the
so what did you do? So what did you do to solve that? What were the seeds you tried to plant this week
uh,
that were
I
opposite?
put it in my sixth time book, and I think the most important thing is just do it.
Mm. So what were some so are you talking about spiritual laziness or you're talking about other kinds of just general like low energy?
I'm very afraid for the beginning of something. Also, but nevertheless, I like doing this. Like I like writing, and I have idea what I will writing, and nevertheless, I go and do the laundry, some homework that I don't like, because I'm afraid for doing the great things.
I see. Actually, we're going to talk about this one just a little bit later. We didn't cover that one directly. So
Mhm,
we're going to talk more specifically about some of the solutions for that.
mhm.
So cool. So thank you for sharing and thanks for being vulnerable to do so. It's difficult, I know.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to? Sandra, you can go.
Okay, I it's a bit embarrassing because I chose that I see as people with unpleasant talking. These people is my mom, very unpleasant for me. So then I realized that the cause is dividing others. So I was on a trip this week on a cruise where there were like 5,000 people. And I realized that I'm always judging and talking myself and saying, okay, this is like, oh no, it's disgusting, or always, or they eat too much or whatever. I'm always criticizing others in my mind. So I try to see them as angels. When someone was rude, I said, okay, it's my teacher. When someone was like, I don't know, whatever, shouting, I say, okay, I speak too loud, it's my teacher. And I try to be very but try to be as much pleasant as I could.
Nice. I mean, first of all, I'm jealous that you went on a cruise. But secondly, that's a powerful way of looking at it. Like put yourself in an uncomfortable position, like stuck on a boat with people who annoy you. And then practice. So good job. One more. Got a couple in the chat. Anyone else like to take a want to share out loud? Sure, yeah, Shane, go for it.
So I chose whatever I try to do never seemed to work out because I'm applying for the job and it has been amazing. Has been months that hasn't come through completely. And that's I hinder the work of holy beings in the past.
Mm,
It's quite funny because in the past I was like, okay, I wouldn't be able to tell what happened in the past lives. But I can tell, for example, like I'm there will be time I'm wasting the holy beings of using them time nicely. Or there was a conversation I was helping a teacher, but then I realized I talk too much.
mm,
So and I should just cut down, be simple. So the things I do is also I just try to keep short. And I try to also, because at the moment I'm doing like, there are translations I can do and I just do it. There are more translations and I just do it. And I also like when I'm doing this design now, I have and I just have my teachers. I put them next to me. So when I'm doing the work for hours and I just see them. And I was like, oh, that's really nice. I feel like they are with me doing the things,
mm.
kind of
Cool.
not engaging in my head.
Thanks for sharing that. I mean, I think that's a very it's an interesting correlation, right? And it's, Jackie said it's very sweet. It's a very like that one was when I first learned that, it was very surprising to me that, when things don't work out, that somehow in the past you got in the way of somebody else doing something virtuous, right? And I think and I think what you said was very, very wise. And I think we all should listen to it, is that it doesn't matter when we did something, or, right. It's just to acknowledge that, okay, this thing is arising right now. This is just what's happening right now. There had to have been a cause. Okay, great. What was the thing that was done? Thinking about it in like a third person kind of way, like what was done, or passive, like something was done in the past, right? What was that thing? And in this case, what you brought up, right, that maybe someone was doing something virtuous, or someone that you saw doing virtuous things, right, that somehow you blocked them, or they're or even better, say they were doing virtuous things and their activities were blocked, right? So instead of blaming ourselves and saying, oh, I'm such a bad person, this Yashang right here is like blocking holy beings, like, no, stop, don't do any of that, right? It's like it was done, it was already completed, and it could have been honestly ages ago, as we talked about. It could have been something small, right? It could have been another life. It could have been, who knows exactly what it was. It don't matter. What matters is next steps, right? A mouse that annoys someone in retreat. Especially the ones that like run across the altar and poop on it. That one's particularly annoying. Right? Like you didn't even know, right? Exactly. Like the thing is, someone could have been doing something virtuous and you didn't even know, right? So don't worry so much about it, about what happened. One thing is to do the opposites and then notice small ways that maybe you do those things now, right? And catch yourself. Like one of the first things of all of this is really just awareness, right? Just the simple awareness of, oh, projects don't seem to work out for me. Well, why? Well, according to these really smart practitioners, they said, well, getting blocking people who are doing virtuous things. They say holy beings, right? But if that language doesn't work for you, it's kind of the same thing, right? Someone who's doing something good for others and you're stopping them in some way. And this happens in so many different ways, right? Like someone's trying to help you and you see them as your enemy, right? Someone's trying to be comforting and you're upset about something, right? It happens all the time. Like I've been in that situation where I found out years later that someone was helping me and I thought they were just being mean or they were just being selfish, right? I saw it one way, they saw it another way, so these things happen. So to become more aware, it's all of this is just simply awareness. Who are you right now? What's getting in your way? And then do the opposite. I mean, it's really a 3-step process. Now, is it that easy just to say, oh, Tim, it's just 3 things to do? Aware, acknowledge, and do the opposite. Yeah, it's that easy. But it doesn't feel that way. And I know. So just talking to myself. Okay, well, I think we stopped on. Did we stop on that one? I think we stopped on the one where it says, whatever I do, my teacher is never pleased. Yes. And I think it's worth revisiting. Why do you see your teacher displeased? Right? Why are they not happy with you? Right? And the answer is that in some way previously there was insincerity and hypocrisy in your practice. Right? And so when you know that, like the displeasure doesn't come from the thing you just did. The displeasure comes from your own hypocrisy or your insincerity of motivation. I want to serve the teacher because I'm the best student. I want to serve the teacher because I want to be the best. I want to be enlightened. Well, that's a true statement, but the emotion behind it or the motivation behind it is probably selfish. Right? If it wasn't selfish, you would just allow other people to serve the teacher and then opportunities would just arise to serve them. Right? Serving the teacher is serving their mission and serving, if they're helping other people, Why do you have a teacher that helps other people? Shouldn't you be happy? Shouldn't you be happy when your teacher is helping someone else who's in need? But guess what? We're not. We're not. So we get jealous or we get upset or we try to push our way to the front. It's normal human behavior, right? My favorite one is, and this has helped me, but it's also built in a bit of insincerity as well. Oh, they're just helping that person because they need more help than I do. Get it? You're saying that you're somehow better than that student. Oh, the teacher's helping them because, oh, that they need more than I do. I'm such a high practitioner. Right. So it's a little condescending, right? Yeah. Right. But check what's going on behind there and be honest. We're actually good people. We just have little bouts of these things. Like that kind of condescension from someone who's a Dharma practitioner is probably 99% less than anyone else's condescension. It's still condescending. So we just have to look at those things in ourselves. All right, next one. People seem to criticize everything I do. I like this one. Why do people criticize you? Because you didn't care what other people thought about what you did. You didn't lack some kind of personal conscience or consideration of what other people's would think of your actions. Right? You're like, well, I mean, where's the balance? Like, of I'm going to be the authentic me. And then being someone who's kind of arrogantly proud about the things how they enter a room, for example. Right? There's a difference, right? But the idea of like, if you don't really care what other people think, you're not being necessarily immoral, right? But you're not really considerate of other people's feelings or how they might be perceiving a situation, or you might be making them feel uncomfortable or something like that. So if you get criticized a lot, or you perceive that you're being criticized, right? It's all oftentimes a perception. Or maybe you criticize yourself. Maybe that critical voice in your head is coming from a lack of consideration of what others would think of your actions. You can't avoid your karma, right? So if you have no one to criticize you and you have that seed, you'll criticize yourself. Right. And so oftentimes the way we try to avoid criticism is by becoming a perfectionist. Right. Or we blame other people. Right. So the thing is, it's like, and then all of a sudden we become a perfectionist. We don't really care about what other people think. And then we self-criticize because we're not good enough, something like that. It's cool. Like, this is why I love Lojong. Like it gives us access to some ideas here that we may never have thought about before. All right, next one. People around me can't seem to get along with each other. They're always just kind of fighting, or maybe they're just like they're all hanging out, but they just don't really like each other. Or like your work colleagues, they're just doing their work, but they're really not. They really don't like each other. You know, this is why I like working with people, because then I can then be like, well, shit, my karma sucks today. Right? My team doesn't get along with each other. I don't get along with my team, whatever it is. Right. And so like, why is that? In the case in this Lojong says that you wished bad things upon other people, or you split people into like divisions, like football teams, like this team versus this team, or like political parties, the left versus the right. By splitting people up into groups and dividing them, you know, white versus black, you know, Asian versus, you know, whatever other divisions we make amongst people, right? Light skin versus dark skin, in between light skin, in between dark skin, like bigger noses, smaller ears, right? Curly hair versus straight hair, blue eyes versus dark eyes, right? What like we divide people up all the time. You're making distinctions. It's called Geshe. It's one of the 5 heaps, right? And so we're already built in to make distinctions. Our minds make distinctions, right? So it's not surprising that we don't get along with each other at times, right? In what way are we all the same? In what way are we different, right? One thing is everybody's coming from you. So difference is coming from you. Old, young, wealthy, not wealthy. You're the one who's making those differences. And then you're attaching yourself to them, and then you'd wonder why people don't get along with each other. Okay, let's see here. Next one. I have had or have serious health problems. This one's a good one. I have misused resources dedicated to the Dharma. This is why most people aren't given access to Dharma money in running organizations, because it's a very, very serious karma. Okay. If you misappropriate Dharma money, your health will deteriorate very, very quickly. It's also a tremendously good karma too, if you can do it properly. Right. But it's a very it's a very delicate job, right? Because you're misappropriating resources that were intended for virtuous activity, right? Somebody gave that money to the Dharma, to ACI or something. And this also goes for ACI employees as well, right? You're being paid by what? Dharma money. And Anastasia, I'm not talking about you. I can see your face. You're like, shit. No, but like, think about it. Like, every hour that you put in is being paid by the organization, right? Are you putting in the work? Are you doing what is being asked of you? Right? Or are you kind of not doing what's being asked of you? You know, not talking to present company. Laura, I can see you too. I can see you like freaking out over there. No, but no, I'm saying it in this way, like to be very, very careful. Anytime you use money that's dedicated to a virtuous activity and you abuse it, it's planting very, very terrible karmas. Right. You know, and me being the person who navigates all the money that comes in, I have a team of people who are doing it as well. Like you have to be very, very careful. Like people hand me money all the time, like at events and things like that as donations. And if it's like, I just went through everything, I guess 2 weeks ago for, what happened in April. And there was an envelope that had a lot of money in it. It had $2,000 in it, but it didn't have there was nothing written on it. And I was like, well, what was the intention of that donor? Like, who gave it to me? I have no idea. Like, honestly, like, things move so quickly. I wasn't paying attention. And it just ends up in my bag. Was that money intended for me? Or was that a donation to ACI? And I didn't know. There were some that had listed, okay, this is for ACI, or this is for Diamond Cutter Classics, or something like that. But I was like, I have no idea who this money is for. And I was like, maybe I should just take that for myself. That would be really nice. Well, what could I do with that $2,000? I have to fix my car. It's $1,500 fix, right? That would have been nice, right? But then I was like, I thought about it. And of course, I was preparing this class I was preparing these classes, and I was like, here's a test. Like, I don't know whose money that is. So in parentheses, when you give money to someone in a red envelope, write on it, please. Right. Or it could have been someone just snuck it in my bag. That could have, that happens from time to time, right? That's cool. But I didn't know who it was from, and I didn't know what the purpose of it was. So just in case I misunderstood the purpose, I gave it to ACI, right? Because I don't want the karma of getting violently sick because I misunderstood what that money was for, right? And if I understand where money comes from anyway, just give it away anyhow, right? Why does money disappear in my backpack? Because I do things like that, right? I just give it away anyway. So if you are having health issues or serious health issues, look into the ways that you misappropriated resources intended for something else. Not just Dharma resources, but anything. Did something belong to you? Or did you just take something and no one really noticed? Like when I go to people's houses and I'm staying over the night or something, and I will go to take a shower in the morning, I always ask, hey, can I use your shampoo? Can I use your soap? It's pretty obvious if I'm visiting a friend and I go to take a shower, I didn't bring shampoo with me. I mean, at least I don't carry shampoo with me, right? Right. But I still ask, maybe they're like, well, actually use this particular one because this is my favorite shampoo and I can't get it anywhere else, right? Who knows, right? That's kind of misappropriating resources too. But really look at the small ways that maybe you use something that wasn't intended for you. And especially if it was intended for a very high virtuous thing like ACI, and then you misuse it. That's why it's also very heavy to work for a Dharma organization. Even if you don't make a lot of money, I'm sorry, ACI employees, I want to pay you more. I'm doing my best. Or are you doing your best? Understand? Like maybe there's some kind of, if you're in general in life don't have enough money. Maybe there's some way that you misappropriated in the past. Resources were misappropriated in the past. That karma was planted. Okay, cool. Now let's move forward, especially if you find yourself sick. Like what is causing this? And your body is supposed to belong to you. When you're sick, your body does not belong to you. Well, yeah, Sheng, you offered a trial and you canceled the trial before it was over. So that's okay. That's part of their business model. They're offering it. Okay. The business offered it to you and they said, try it for 30 days. If you don't like it, you can cancel anytime. That's not inappropriate. But yeah, so if you have a lot of sickness, look into the ways in which maybe resources were inappropriately utilized. Don't worry about what it was, just don't do it again. 4 powers it, and then be very, very careful in the future about using other people's things. Tracy has a good thing. Okay, you guys are so funny. What if you sign up for the 30-day free trial knowing that you're going to cancel it anyway? The business, look at it. Look, guys, the business already thinks of people like you. They anticipate a certain percentage of their customers trying it out on purpose and then canceling. But they're also banking on the fact that half of you will be stupid and forget to cancel. And they'll charge your credit card anyway. And then you won't notice for 4 months. And then you go, God damn it, I don't even use that thing. And then you cancel it and they still got their money. Don't worry about it. They're already taking into account people like you. So just enjoy it. But know that you're being tricked. They're banking on the fact that you're going to forget. Okay. Cool. Maria has a good question. What if you don't teach Dharma? Is that count as misusing Dharma resources? I would say no in this case. I think if you hold on to, if you're gathering teachings, okay, well, maybe if there's some cases. If you got all the teachings for free, you gathered all of them, and then you put together all of these for-profit programs, which is okay to do, but then don't offer it as an option for some kind of free teaching later because you got it for free because it's priceless. Maybe. I don't know. I got to think about it a little bit more. That's a complicated one. Yeah, so Gloria, just to be clearer, she's asking about if you have a degenerative disease. One of the causes for that is having misused other people's, especially virtuous resources. And this is an interesting question, and this is a hard question for us. Like, our health is the thing that's the most important to us and the thing that kills us eventually, right? And Gloria is asking, well, how do I get rid of the disease? The hard thing here is that we can give you the karmic advices, but we don't know how strong the karmas are ripening for you right now. Right? So first of all, any kind of health issues is really helping other people. I mean, like, let's go basics. Help other people who have health issues. like take care of other sick people genuinely. That's one of the first things, like really caring for other people's well-being. Serious diseases come from lots of different causes. One of them we're mentioning here is having misused Dharma resources, right? And our bodies are finite. Like this body will die, right? It will get old and die. It's even in the Dharma, like the Dharma sense, that your body isn't something that there's a you that transformed, but the body itself still gets old. So it's really hard to kind of navigate it. But really, it's how are you caring for other people? I've had some weird health things, and then I just focus on caring for other people, and then like the weirdest practitioner shows up, right? And it's just like, oh, look, let's push these three like cheap, like these acupressure points on your body, and everything's better. Suffering for 6 months, and all of a sudden, like it's just some stuck cheese somewhere, right? So, but it was the karma that shifted it, not that you meant the practitioner, right? So, and our health can be very, very scary too. And of course, different sicknesses can create different kinds of reactions, right? Some people are okay with it. They're like, okay, well, that's just how it's going to be. Other people freak out, like myself. I think my life is over every time I have a headache. You know, must be some kind of massive like brain hemorrhage. I have a headache. Or Tim, you need to sleep, right? You know, so the reaction to it also is part of the seeds too. All right. Oh, this one is I tend to get serious headaches or pains in my body. Why? Huh. This one's good. I didn't keep my spiritual promises and pledges in the past. Pains in the body, headaches come from not keeping those commitments. And that kind of makes sense. Like you committed to something. Maybe at some point you might commit to a mantra practice. If you have a lot of headaches, maybe you're not doing it, Tim. Something like that. Just do your 21 mantras every day. Maybe your headaches will go away. All right. This one, I often feel anxiety and worry. And this is interesting. Now, yes, there's multitudes of causes, right? But what this is saying primarily is that you did wrong deeds towards enlightened beings and the Diamond Way teachings. That's a really to me, that's a very interesting correlation. That you were acting improperly towards holy beings and in some way improperly towards the highest teachings of Buddhism. Oh, well, Tim, I haven't entered Diamond Way yet, and I'm anxious all the time. Come on. We probably were all together in some past life doing our Vajragini sadhanas together, and we all messed it up. Okay. Anastasia was the teacher, and I was the student, and I messed it up, right? And then, things flipped around, and then, karma shifts a little bit. Now I'm the teacher right now. Anastasia is the student, right? We all messed it up. Don't worry. We all screwed it up. How do you know you screwed it up? You're not enlightened. Duh. Okay, get over it. Your vows don't carry through all through the lives all the time, Marina. So, and translators, I really hope that you sang that too. And in an equally beautiful song. Vinaya vows do not carry on after you die, for example. So, and your bodhisattvas, they stick with you, but you don't remember them. So I don't know. Are you breaking a vow because you took it in a past life, but you don't remember it? I don't know. We can argue. But the point is we already did this, right? And the personality that you have in relationship to the Dharma right now is probably has something to do with how you treated the teachings in the past. Probably rather respectfully, because no normal person would sit through all of these classes. Okay. You're already extraordinary. It's extraordinary to be sitting here in 14 classes. It is. It's really amazing. But we must have done something slightly wrong. And guess what? Seeds grow. Right? You were slightly disrespectful. Anastasia has a very good question. What if you were a mouse and you don't know, and you walked across the altar of a Diamond Way practitioner and you pooped on it? Do you still collect the bad karma? Right? Because you don't have a conception of it as a Diamond Way altar. You have a conception as of like, oh, a nice little soft cloth, and oh, look at that thing that smells really good. It's probably really yummy, right? We call it a torma, right? An offering to the angels or something like that. Marina, stop. Just listen. Don't argue. Listen. Empty your cup. But if you're walking, if you don't have the conception of it, are you planting a bad seed? That's your question, right, Anastasia? Like, if you didn't know it was like, it's terrible karma to get angry at a bodhisattva. But what if you didn't know they were a bodhisattva? It's a question like, are you planting bad seeds when you don't conceive of it in a certain way? And conception is a very important part of the seed planting process, how you conceive something. People will be like, oh, I've seen people at Diamond Mountain take animals, like this one little bird wasn't going to make it, and they took the bird up to the stupa, and they walked around the stupa with the bird, right, to give the bird good karma, right? Which I think is very, very admirable, and wishing that bird having a good rebirth and doing all those things. But did the bird perceive that? So what karma is the bird getting? You have to think about it. Okay. There's something self-existent in all of it, in the thinking behind it. So anyway, the way that I look at this is like, did you conceive it that way or not? Were you that little mouse that pooped on the altar or ate the offering? I don't know. I like to look at the mouse that runs across the offering as an angel being like, hey, 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 look at me. Right. And then I'm like, oh, I made that Torma offering for you. Go for it. go to town, right? You know, maybe changing I'm seeing a mouse, but maybe it's something else. I don't know. But the way that I think about it is, in the past, I may have done wrong deeds against angels in the secret teachings. Great. So what do I need to do now? If I'm hearing this teaching and I'm moving forward, what do I need to do? First of all, do your 4 powers. I must have done this in the past. Who cares if you were a mouse or a dog or a bird, or in a past life you were slightly disrespectful, to your teacher, or you're slightly disrespectful to your teacher last week. I don't know, right? But moving forward, just do something different, right? Respect the teachings, respect other religions, respect other people's paths. Like, who could be an angel? Who could be teaching you something? You never know. But the thing is, if you have the conception that it could be a conception, maybe you can change those things very quickly. Your karma is also empty. Maria, I'll answer Maria asked a question. Oh my God, you guys are asking lots of questions. Just plant seeds. No, ask the question, what if I was in a different religious tradition and I disrespected it? And maybe it was true. In the Diamond Way, you have a vow not to disrespect other religions and other traditions, because you never know. Right? And all paths, Tartuk take Bachik, all paths lead to the same goal. Okay. I don't know. Not doing what your teacher says is a different karma, I think. I worry about that a lot. Next one. I don't have enough money. In the past, I failed to give things to other people, right? You got possessive about money. And you didn't make Tekbachik Tartuk. Come on, Tracy. Tartuk. Tek. Chick is one, Tekba is path, like Tekchen, Mahayana. Tartuk is ultimate. So in some ways, you failed to make offerings to high beings in some way. It says making offerings to the 3 jewels, the 3 gems. It doesn't mean go and offer. Like, you don't have to go and offer. Like, it's not like, oh, I should go to run to a temple or run to a teacher and make offerings to them. But what it means is when you had the opportunity to, you didn't. Meaning you got possessive. You're like, no, mine. Right? But it also doesn't mean if you only have $10 that you give away $10, right? You still need to buy your next lunch, right? Buy your next lunch, get some French fries, and give 1 or 2 French fries to a bird. That's how you get generous with your $10. Like, you can not eat 1 of the French fries and you'll be fine, right? Help someone else. See, Marina, I'm going to challenge you on this. Even to say that we're in the highest teachings is potentially a bad thing to say. So be very, very careful. And I want you all to think about it. All right. Q. I do not Q. Why did I say Q? That's the answer. I don't look very good physically. If you don't like how you look, that there's some kind of anger karma in the past. Okay. And then it also says you didn't make holy images with the proper care. You were sloppy with your art. Well, what if you're not a good artist? That's not the point, right? You didn't take care of holy images. You didn't, things that you see as holy, you didn't take care of. You see? So how do you look good? Cut out your anger. You're like, well, what if I have this weird feature? Like, no, you don't understand. Like, there's nothing self-existent about the way you look. Stop being angry, purify all of that, and you'll be beautiful. And others will see you that way. What if I don't like my freckles? There's someone who likes freckles. Get it? Like, there's no self-existent ugly and there's no self-existent beautiful. Okay. And I've seen people who their anger just transforms them into ugly. Right. And then it's like, well, what quality makes them ugly? It was their anger. It's not the self-existent, droopy face. Right. Or, that's not it. Because I've seen people with droopy faces who are beautiful. Right. Or what's the difference between someone who's young and old? Like that's stupid. Like, oh, I've lost my youth. I'm no longer beautiful. No, you got angry. When I was in Taiwan, we had she calls herself Mama G. She named herself after my cat, right? Her name's Kay, and she came to the teachings, and Kay is like a bubble of light and beauty, right? And I'm like, this person's amazing. I don't think any of us would. There's probably I don't know, but I didn't perceive any anger in this person. She just was kind and generous, and it was amazing. I was just like she came to translate, and I was like, I think you're the teacher today, right? I think you're the teacher. And she started calling herself after naming herself Mama G, which is the name of my cat, right? I got to show you guys a video at the end of class today. It's does age have anything to do with beauty? No, right? She's a beautiful person. Like I was like, this person's so beautiful, right? Anger. Eliminate your anger and eliminate your perceived bad looks. Last one. I have trouble keeping my spiritual practice regularly and alertly. Right? I have trouble, like lay low is one of the things here. I have trouble keeping things going. And this one is simply you behaved improperly towards the Dharma at some point. Improper behavior. That's all. Most of it comes down to self-cherishing and disrespect in some small ways. Right? Just don't disrespect other people. And then probably most of these things will clear up. Don't get angry at people, even when they're acting in ways that you normally would get angry. Like, doesn't matter. I mean, at the end of the day, like, if you want to be ugly, get angry. How about that? That's all. If you want to have less anxiety, less worry. If you want to be healthier, take a look at some of these things. And if your practice gets really strong, you can eliminate a lot of these things very, very quickly. Like, take these lists, and then I have books, right? Not books, but I have all the karmic correlations bookmarked everywhere. So like after 2 months, when I'm still dealing with a problem, I'm like, why do I have to see this? Right. And I'm like, I bet you there's a correlation. So I go and look. There's a book called All Kinds of Karma. There's a book called the Diamond Cutter business book. There's a thing called ACI 14, right? Those are the three primary places that I look for karmic correlations, right? Before you go running to your teacher, I don't know what to do, go look in those books. The answers are there. And if you still have problems, go ask your teacher. Right. And Gloria, you said you have problems with your motivation. So that's the very last one. I behaved improperly towards the Dharma. Something was misbehaved. So just change a little bit of that. And then do your 4 steps. Last night, I'm on a new kick right now. I had a preview for DCI Advanced Level 5. Had a preview last week, right? And I was like, it's all about being happy. And I started being tired of not being happy with a few things in my life. Just got tired. I was like, this is annoying. And I'm like, what am I not doing? I was like, that's not very hard, So when I got irritated, almost got mad with my teacher, I had to really fight it. I was like, it's coming for me. It's coming for me. I know, right? I almost got mad, right? But I looked at the emotion behind it and I was like, oh, he's purifying that emotion. And I'm like, why do I keep having to see this? Like, why do I keep bumping up against this same problem over and over again? And I realized I'm simply not offering what I'm doing to my teacher. It's a simple thing. I'm running ACI. How difficult is this? I'm doing the work for my teacher. That's literally what he wants me to do. Like, he walked by me yesterday and all he said was, thank you for ACI. And I'm like, it was so like nonchalant. I was kind of annoyed. And then I was like, oh, he's telling me that maybe I should just rejoice a little bit more. Maybe I should offer what I'm doing. So what if I just change my motivation? Right? Maybe I should coffee meditate on this a little bit. I fell asleep in 5 minutes last night. I think it's a record. Let's see what my app says to me. Didn't look at it this morning. It tells me how long it takes for me to fall asleep. It's a little scary. Let's see. Oh, it said it took 35 minutes. I don't have that perspective. I fell asleep. My memory was I fell asleep pretty quickly. Right? Maybe my mind went to sleep or something. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't snore at all last night. 0%. That's nice. If anyone cares. But you see, I was like, oh, maybe I just need to shift my practice a little bit. Maybe just make what I'm doing the offering, not being like grumpy about it, or this is just what I do. Maybe I should change how I'm doing it. And then there's a Diamond Way practice on how to make offerings more powerful, which you'll learn later, which I will teach you if you decide to stick around. Okay. And basically, one of the ideas of when we're looking at all of these things is not to go to a place where you are being guilty for the things that are appearing in your life, where you're like, I'm such a terrible person. I'm this, I'm that. I can't believe things are like this. You're probably not that person anymore. And this is the problem with Dharma practitioners, is that we're so obsessed with like planting good seeds that any bad thing that happens, we think that, oh my God, I must have done something unconsciously last week. Like that, I think that is acting improperly towards the Dharma too. Like, relax. You're not a bad person. You're a good person and you just have some seeds ripening. If you didn't have bad seeds ripening, you wouldn't be in a human body. Okay. So yeah, that's right. I got a couple smiles. Just relax. You're in a human body. Things are gonna happen. You know, Jackie, is that some kind of like new, like young kid language?
Sorry, I spelled it wrong. I said tombstone.
Oh, okay. I'm like, is that like some cap or something being, it's like, it's a little sus if you ask me. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to talk like the young kids these days. So, but all it means is that you had the seed from the past. That's all we need to do, you know, and it grew. Like if you have, if you live in a place that is unpleasant, it smells bad, right? There's lots of pollution. It means that there was some kind of sexual misconduct in the past. But it doesn't mean you've been sexually misconducting now, right? All it means is that it's there, right? So now just be very careful moving forward. And I can promise you, being very, very careful about those smallest of things can change your outer world very, very quickly, right? Just stop small things. Small things, if you stop the small things, they never become big things. Okay. All right. So I have one more. Let's see here. Let's open this one up. Okay. Right. So this is the example that gets used in the text, right? Like when you have a place that, for me, New York is kind of like this. Like it's dirty, there's trash everywhere. It smells like urine in lots of places, you know. And it's just like, you know, am I someone who's committing a lot of sexual misconduct? Probably not currently. Okay. But if I want to stop it, I have to look at all the small ways, the small things that I do, like the little looks or the little ways that the prana moves, right? In a way that disrespects other people's relationships. Like it's difficult, right? It's difficult to stop those habits, right? But you can stop the habits, really. You will resist stopping those kind of habits, right? Not just that one, but like oftentimes the things that we think are normal are the things that are hurting us the most. And resistance is okay. And then the last thing, it's interesting how this class ends because it talks about like issues of like being close to people or being far from people, right? And so I have this picture here of like this guy who's jealous, right? Like he wants to be close to the woman, but the other guy's there, right? And it's like, why is he not able to be close to the person he wants to be close with? Right? Like, well, is he can't be close to her because she's with somebody else, right? That's just one explanation, right? That's the It's a difference between the how and the why, right? The how, he can't be close to her because she's in another relationship. She's in a committed monogamous relationship. That's the how, but that's not the why. Why can't he be close to that person? Or, for example, like, why can't you be close to, you know, to your teacher? Or you can't be close to someone in your family, right? And the main reason is because we didn't allow somebody else to be close. Right? And the whole idea of the wheel of knives is that normally what we would do to get close to the person we want to get close with, in the case of this guy who wants to be with this woman who's with somebody who's in a committed relationship with somebody else, is that he'll do all the things to be the better guy. He'll go to the club, he'll dress up more, he'll be nicer to her, he will do all of these things, right? That doesn't get the relationship. The reason you can get close to someone is because you helped other people get close, right? And then on top of it, obviously, like the misconduct of getting between someone else's relationship, we're not even talking about that part right now. But all the things that we do that are incorrect, like, oh my God, I met my spiritual partner, but they're with someone else, I have to be with them. Why are you manifesting someone that you have to be with who you can't be with? That's what you should be asking. Right? Why do you keep manifesting situations that are impossible? Why do you keep engaging a situation that is impossible? Let me just plant the seed and then maybe one day they'll be with me. Wrong thinking. 100% wrong thinking. Do all the right things, plant all the right seeds, and then the person will come. And it'll come unexpectedly. Otherwise it'll just backfire and you're just throwing those stars, right? You're just throwing those wheel of knives. You just keep throwing them, right? And it's hugely, one of the best teachings I ever got was about is not being attached to the form, but it being motivated by the essence. Like, if you want a spiritual partner, meaning if you want a Buddha to come to you to teach you in that way, do you think it's gonna, how do you think it's gonna happen? You got to let go of everything. You got to let go of who you think you are, and you got to let go of the thing that you think is going to be your spiritual partner. How do you get a spiritual partner? I don't know. Do your practices. Right? And how do I say this? Most people don't understand what a spiritual partner is anyway. So, like, just relax. Like, do you want love? Do you want all of the things that come in a normal, like, loving relationship? Yes. Okay, go plant those seeds. Do you want someone with whom you can practice? Sure, great, go plant those seeds. Do you want someone who's going to take you to total enlightenment? Yes, go plant those seeds. What are those seeds? Keep your vows. Clean up your motivation. And deeply get into your why. Why are you doing this? And then that normal partner of yours that annoys the shit out of you, and you've been thinking about getting a divorce just because you've been together for 15 years and you're like, man, it's boring. And all of a sudden the karma shifts and they become the most awesome person in the world. Okay. Or maybe that relationship's running its course and those seeds have worn out, and then you meet someone else afterwards. Okay, that's fine too. But understand that it's seeds. It has nothing to do with anything else. But for the love of seeds, don't try to change someone self-existently. Get it? Like, I've seen so many people get so attached to like one form that then they get lost in it and then they can't do anything else. Just plant the seed. Don't worry about whether it's this person or that person, or if it's my partner, my current partner, I need to upgrade my, stop. Like all of those things just get in the way. Like work at the level of seeds. And when your seeds get good enough, everyone becomes kind of a teacher anyway. Okay. But any kind of, if you're trying, how do I say this? I feel like there's a good t-shirt coming, Anastasia. There's a t-shirt that's going to come out of this content. Understand this from a different point of view. If you're trying to create something, you've already messed it up. Okay. Because your trying is probably imbued with the 8 worldly thoughts, or it's imbued with some kind of wrong motivation. The motivation to serve other people will then create the karma for you to have the things that you need and want. It's not the other way around. Oh my God, I want a partner. Yes, that's level 1 seed planting. Leveling up your seed planting is, I want to serve all people. Partner comes, and that can help us help more people through the partnership. Then let's do that. You see. Or do you want someone like who can, be a companion for your life? That's great too. And that's a wonderful motivation, and you should do it. But go help someone to make it possible. Go to the nursing home every 2 p.m. in Sedona Winds. Okay. That's a big t-shirt, Tracy. I think you need to shorten that down a little bit. Okay. That's more like an Instagram post. All right. Here we go. We're continuing on with Dharma Rakshita. All right. We've already talked about this. We're now moving into class 9, just in case anyone wanted to know. What is that greatest enemy? Right? We've talked about this. I've said it like 3 times already. Right? The greatest enemy is your own self-cherishing. Okay. Here's a guy taking a selfie. Right? Loving himself, in this self-existent way, right? Rang Chenzen. Right? The self-cherishing comes from your daksin. It comes from your grasping onto yourself as being self-existent, having some nature of its own, independent of your seeds, independent of how you treated other people in the past. Okay. Is it okay to take a selfie? Yes. Is it okay to like yourself? Yes. Is it okay to love? Yes. Okay, you can do all of those things. But understand that that feeling that you have towards yourself is coming from a seed too. Because you could be taking that selfie and disliking yourself, right? It's not the selfie that creates the feeling. And so Dharma Rakshita is like, look, this enemy of mine is the worst. He's basically saying, look, I don't have time to focus on my smaller enemies. I don't have time to focus on, these little tiny annoyances in my life, the people, like, oh, I don't have enough money, I don't have the right partner. Like, I don't have time for that. He's like, I'm going to go after the enemy that's hurting me the most. And the enemy that's hurting me the most is my Rangchenzen, my Daksin, is my self-cherishing. Not going to waste my time with anything else. I'm not going to spend my time worrying about all these other things. Because if I can destroy that enemy, anything else is possible. You see. And so he calls upon very, very, he calls upon the Lord of Death. We're calling it like a bloodthirsty monster. I'm going to call it something a little bit different, but it stands like a god with widespread legs and stares with hatred with his two eyes, opening his jaws and shows his fangs. To all of these things, my own self-cherishing. Okay. He's basically going to put the scariest, he's going to basically bring the scariest, most terrifying thing to his Rangchenzen to destroy it. Okay. And so here it is. Okay. All right. Can you guys just see the picture, or are you seeing my whole screen?
Whole screen.
Dang, what is going on with Zoom? This is really getting irritating. Anyway, there it is. Okay. This is the Lord of Death. Okay. This is Bhairava. It comes in different forms. All right. Now imagine putting this in front of your self-cherishing. All right. Pretty damn scary. I mean, if you saw this in real life, like if you saw this like guy walking up your driveway. All right. So, but it's the whole thing behind this symbolism is that the two legs represent the two truths, right? Deceptive and ultimate truth. His two eyes represent method and wisdom. And the fangs, like, are the four forces of purifying bad deeds. So this guy is going like, he's not being all gentle anymore. He's like, screw this. He's like, right? He's like, I am not going to screw around anymore with this. This is my Dakchenzen. This is my Daksen. This is my Rangchenzen. This is my self-cherishing, right? And I'm not going to put up with it anymore. And I'm going to bring the ferocious Lord of Death to kill that aspect of myself, right? And that another form of Bhairava is also Yamantaka, which you guys will learn a little bit later as well, right? How to use to your mental afflictions. That's what Bhairava looks like. Okay. To the mental affliction, It looks scary. It looks like a monster, right? Fierce, ferocity. That's what it looks like to the mental affliction, right? But does the mental affliction, I mean, does it self-existently look like that, right? Of course, it doesn't self-existently look like that. So the thing is that that fierce monster, right? Yamari, the Lord of Death, Bhairava. There's many different forms that he takes, right? Pretty much depending on your own seeds, right? Like this fierce angel is just a projection of our own minds, which is actually a projection of a very, very good seed. Like having a strong practice, having a deep understanding of karma and emptiness, having great compassion, following the instructions, right? Doing all of the things that you're supposed to do. Okay. Your good karma will create such a fierce angel that protects you from your negative emotions. It's forced upon you by your karma. You can't force it to show up. Your karma just forces it to show up. How do you force it to show up? Understand karma and emptiness. Plant the seeds. How do you plant the seeds for it? Just plain old vows, plain old kindness, plain old just serving ACI with the right motivation. You don't have to do anything special. The specialness the specialness comes from the seeds. Diamond Way Tantric Worldview does not come because you finished your 18 courses. It comes because you had the seeds for it to come. Your 18 courses do not create a tantric worldview. And don't think for 1 second that just because you finished the 18 courses with me, that you're going to be in Diamond Way. It doesn't work that way. Or you finished 18 courses with somebody else. Okay, no, it's not linear. It's not how it works. Your seeds create it. Maybe there's something about the 18 courses appearing that will create the seeds for all of that to appear to you, but it's not the cause. You can have a tantric worldview when you're 6 years old. You can be born with it. It's karma, right? And what is tantra? It's not anything but a deep wish. And if you don't have the right wish and the right motivation, you won't be able to enter. It's not a thing to achieve. It's not this, oh, I'm in the secret teachings. Oh, I'm so special. I'm specialer than everyone else. You're not more special than anyone else. You actually realize that you're not special. And that's why you get in. Sorry, translators. It's not special. It's your motivation. And what's that motivation? You have to figure that out yourself. I'm not going to tell you. And if you're listening to class, you will have figured it out. And so Dharma Rakshita asks this tantric deity to smash the skull of his enemy who has wasted my life. Bring death to the heart of this butcher, my greatest enemy. Okay. Like, is he like smashing the skull? Like, it's very violent of his wasted life. Bring death to the heart of the butcher, my greatest enemy. Right? It's very violent in some ways. And it's not easy language to put our minds around because We're taught that we should be gentle, we should be kind, we shouldn't hurt others, right? Of course, right? But when it comes to your own mental afflictions, you should have zero tolerance for it. Does it mean you should be critical and hurt yourself? No. But what it means is your self-cherishing is what's preventing you from becoming someone who can really help other people. Your greatest enemy is that. So please rip that out of my heart. Smash the skull of my greatest enemy. Right? Right? Smash the tendency to see negative events as coming from their own side. Smash the tendency to get the things we want in the incorrect way by throwing your star, your ninja star, right? There's a reason why I keep saying I want you to be ninja bodhisattvas, right? It's all connected, right? And as there's stories, like when the Buddha's half brother was trying to shoot him with an arrow and the arrow turned into flowers, right? Like the Buddha's karma didn't allow an arrow to hit him. It just turned into flower petals, right? I mean, imagine being hit with like a bunch of flower petals, how gentle and beautiful and what's the word I'm looking for? Like the aroma of being bathed in flowers, right? Like rose petals just falling all over you. You're just in heaven, right? Someone's trying to shoot the Buddha, and the Buddha's like, this is amazing, right? Different karma, right? Smash the tendency to see things as coming from their own side, right? Bring on the ferocity, right? I'm done with this. I'm done with this attitude in myself, right? The people who are Yamantika practitioners tend to be the most gentle people there are. So think about that one. People who invoke Yamantika to destroy their mental afflictions tend to be the most gentle people I've ever met. Cool. See you all Thursday. We'll be finishing up Dharma Rakshita on Thursday. The cool thing about ACI 14 is it actually only has 9 classes and not 10. So next Monday, we'll finish this up on Thursday, and then next Monday we'll be I have some ideas for some extra credit content for Monday. I haven't quite taken shape yet, but I have a couple ideas are coming to mind. So for our review, I don't like doing reviews. I like giving extra credit. You can do the reviews yourself. You can create study groups. You can do the homeworks together. I have a group. We meet regularly to go through the Diamond Way homeworks. Okay. Do it. Find people to study with. Watch the classes again, right? I'd rather give you something new and then you can review it on your own and watch the classes again. Cool. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, translators. Thank you, or interpreters, excuse me. Thank you, recording people. Thank you, everyone who makes the classes possible. Those of you who are in Vietnam, we're still trying to figure out how to navigate the Telegram problem. So we'll be in contact shortly. We're probably just going to move everyone to WhatsApp for now. Telegram got banned in Vietnam, so we have to navigate in a different way. So sorry about that. Yeah, but we want to get, you can use a VPN, but we prefer to like stay above the law in all cases. It's better, even if we disagree with certain things, it's better to follow the law of the country than to go around it. So we're trying to find best ways to do that. So thank you all very much. And we'll see you in a half hour for some translation. And I have a special meditation for you as well. So take a nice break. See you soon.
Всем спасибо большое, до встречи.